Everybody, welcome back with the Plat. Let's talk a little bit about gotcha revenue. So, first, we're going to look at a couple games that I want to highlight, mostly sort of Convallaria. All right, that's obviously what kind of my channel is right now. Um, so, let's take a look at sort of Convallaria because that's kind of what my channel is based around right now. So, as you can see here, it's roughly a 70% drop in revenue from month one to month two. Now, I think it might sound like cope, but I actually think this is not that bad. We all know gotchas are going to drop. Their launches are by far their biggest, besides like if they get really popular, their 6 month and 1 year anniversary, stuff like that can also be really big. But usually the launch is going to be one of the biggest days the gotcha ever has, especially the launch month. So I actually think a 70% drop in revenue is not that bad. I think it's roughly what we would expect. But at the same time, like, yeah, of course, it's not what we want to see. I think what's really going to matter is next month. If we go to month three and we see that this 1 million drops to, 600,000, 700,000, that's when I think we got to start worrying about it. But for right now, I think we're fine. But can I be completely honest? So I am a little bit worried about the game, if I'm going to be honest. I'm not saying EOS, EOS. Anytime you even talk about worries, people like thinking that you're a doomer. So again, I think these are good numbers. I'm happy with that. Making $1 million for copy pasta, like, is pretty good money, right? But China is the main version of the game, right? This is the original version. So they have to develop new content for this version of the game. And making $500,000 in a month is good, but I mean that's starting to get pretty low for developing new content. It like if I was in the Chinese version of the game, I would be less confident about the future of the game. In a sense, I think we might be. There's two things. If as long as one version of the game, I think the game has a really good chance of keeping going, because if China is doing really good and they're making tons of money, they're going to keep wanting to make content for it, and then it's very cheap for them to keep pushing our content to catch up with them, right? In the inverse, if China isn't making that much money, but we're making a lot of money, they want to keep making money for China just so they can keep making content for us, right? Because they're making money off of us. Because if we let's say we're making a couple $1 million a month and they EOS China because it's not making money, I mean, all this is going to drop off, right? Because no one's going to expect them to not EOS us when they get to that kind of thing. So I am a little bit worried with China doing pretty bad. And I'm like, the numbers are all in red, right? You don't want to see, if you're under 1 million for your game, you don't want to see it drop to like, drop another 300,000. But that's I still am not worried at this point. I'm a little worried, but I'm not that way. I mean, it's kind of a lot of things. So I don't want this to be like, this isn't meant to be a drama video, but like they've ended the content creator program. You're not allowed to talk about anything on the media server. They want you to sign NDAs, and then it's like their revenues are dropping. Like there is like reasons like I think a reasonable person could be concerned, but I honestly think for the most part, I consider this a success. I think that this is really good revenue for a smaller gotcha. I think these are good numbers. I am nervous about the game. Obviously, is not a hit in China, but to be honest, the reason the game's not a hit in China is not a hit in China because everyone in China is playing Love and Deep Space, bro. This game is destroying it, bro. Look at this. This is like a husbando game. Although all the husbandos like are not, in my mind, they're not what I would consider attractive, I guess. I consider grizzly bearded men with long hair with a purple persona to be attractive. But I mean, $55 million. Holy shit, bro. No one, like, no other games have a chance. Although, to be fair, China is spending $33 million on Honkai Star Rail as well, and Naruto, $24 million on that. So, point is, I'm blaming these big games here on why it's not succeeding, I guess, in China. But I mean, my God, look at Love and Deep Space. Another thing I want to look at right now is kind of in a similar situation. So Persona the Phantom X is more popular in China. It's currently more popular than sort of Convallaria is. Popularity, if measured by money spent, right? It's at least more popular to spend money on the game, if nothing else, even if there's a lower player base, who knows? So this game is going to be getting a global release. It's going. So I think it's weird because I feel like Persona is one of the biggest IPs you could have in a gacha that people want to pull. And the game takes place in Japan, so it's weird that it's not. It hasn't released in Japan yet. I think this game is going to blow up. Although I will say that these versions of the game are not as successful as I would expect from Persona. However, again, I mean the big hitters in the gacha world, I think like there's a bandwagon effect. I think if you're playing Love and Deep Space and Naruto and Honkai Star Rail, like it's harder to break into the market, even if you're a good game, because it's just like these games are. People have so much money invested. Sorry, not invested. So much money spent into these games. But I actually do think that for a game that's been around, for quite a while now, I think that this is a pretty decent revenue. And I think when this is a game that'll be more popular global than it ever is in China. So this is pretty similar to the sort of Convallaria, it looks like, situation to me, where this is about what the sort of Convallaria revenue was when it decided to go global, probably just to generate a bunch more revenue. And it is, like, when they make it global, they're going to make tens of millions of dollars probably. But yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today. Yeah, I know sort of Convallaria looks pretty bad. I actually think it's not that bad. I do think I think the first version of the game being so low is a bit of a concern. Especially, like, can I say, because they added a new gotcha into the game. If you add a new, like, because they added signature weapons, unless they've changed it. I mean, I haven't kept up to date, but I know they were adding signature weapons. So if you added a new gotcha and your revenue went down, that's not a cash grab. That's the audience saying, we're not going to spend money on this. Sorry, but take it out of the game or we're done. Like, that's kind of the thing. Like, if you add a whole new gotcha and you lose money, that's not a good sign. So I actually would be worried for this version of the game, but I honestly think ours are going very strong right now. So I think we have minimum another year left to play the game. Hopefully it goes a lot longer. Hopefully, I mean, everything upturns. I mean, this is one of my favorite games I've ever played on a phone. It's got such good tactics, such good character design. I mean, I got issues with the game too, but I mean, overall, I really, really like the game. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments down below. That's all for today, guys. Thank you very much. Purplatypus is Purplatypus. I'll see you on the flip flops. Bye. Platypus on the rise. Watch the views go.